when we return to Bellator Fighting Championships.
Tonight we're at the Majestic Theater in downtown San Antonio, Texas for Bellator 20. The rules in the semifinal round of Bellator Fighting Championships. All fights consist of 3 5-minute rounds, no elbows to the head, and there is no kicking or kneeing the head of a grounded opponent. Alexander Shlemenko made his Bellator debut last month in the middleweight quarterfinals.
You know, they call him the Storm, but he looked like a tornado, spinning the entire time, kicks, back fists. Matt Major really not having any answer. Ate a ton of strikes in that fight. None of them were knockout blows, only rocked a couple times, but man, just domination by Alexander Shlemenko over Matt Major. That's how he punched his ticket into the semifinals.
Also on that night in Kansas City, it was Jared Hess in his 185-pound quarterfinal.
You know, Hess took on a guy cut from the same cloth, a rustler, Ryan McGivern, but it was Jared Hess who had the better takedowns, the better ground position, and when he saw the opportunity, he took it with this beautiful guillotine choke. Submission victory got him into the semifinals.
We are now set for our first middleweight tournament semifinal, Alexander Shlemenko versus Jared Hess.
Like we said at the outset, almost a throwback, striker versus grappler. Who will come out on top?
And now, ladies and gentlemen, set and ready to make his way to the cage, fighting out of the red corner. This is Alexander Shlemenko.
Alexander Shlemenko has been attracted to combat sports since his youth and considers his countryman Fedor Emelianenko his idol in MMA. For Shlemenko, fighting is quite simply his passion.
Alexander Shlemenko was born during the last throes of the Soviet Empire in 1984 in the most dangerous area of the Siberian city of Omsk. As a 15-year-old, while those around him turned to drugs and crime, Shlemenko chose a different path and turned to Russian army combat fighting, the most brutal form of amateur combat sports.
Although I was never actually in the military, I fought many people in the military, including very difficult fights against soldiers in special forces. Those fights helped me to train, and by the time I turned professional, I had a great deal of confidence because I had already been in such brutal fights with those special forces fighters.
At 17, he had his first professional fight, leading to over 100 Army combat fights, 50 kickboxing wins, dozens of Muay Thai fights, and a 28-4 professional MMA record. Shlemenko's toughness and aggressive style have won him a huge following in his native Russia, and having turned 26 last week, he now looks to Bellator's Season 2 tournament to give him the opportunity to add something else to his resume.
In our fighter meeting on Tuesday, Alexander Shlemenko said through our Russian translator, Tanya Blum, that he held back in his quarterfinal round victory versus Matt Major.
And now his opponent ready to make his way to the cage, fighting out of the blue corner. This is Jared Hess.
Jared Hess reached the final of Bellator's inaugural middleweight tournament, losing to Hector Lombard last June. A rematch with Bellator's reigning 185-pound world champion is now the primary focus of Hess.
Entering Bellator's Season 1 middleweight championship, former NCAA All-American wrestler Jared Hess had a plan to beat Hector Lombard. And for a while, his plan was working.
He was moving up and down, and it was pretty hard for me to find the target because he was moving.
Although neither of Lombard's prior Bellator opponents managed to escape the first round, Hess managed to push Lombard into the fourth, confident that his conditioning would pay off in the later rounds.
He always there, he always in my face, he always want to fight more and more.
But when Lombard opened a large gash on Hess's forehead in their championship fight, Hess's plan was put on hold. Unable to stop the bleeding, the ringside doctor was forced to end the fight early in the fourth round, giving the victory and the World Middleweight Championship to Lombard. But a win in tonight's Season 2 semifinal would put Hess one win away from another chance to fully carry out his strategy.
It was able for me to go and start training full time. I was able to quit work and concentrate on my stand-up. I've been working day and night on my stand-up, trying to get it better. I'm a better fighter since I fought Hector. I learned a lot from that fight and became a better fighter instead of just trying to go in there and take him down, work my angles. I still believe that, I can beat Hector. I believe if I was ever to be able to take him down and get on top, I definitely think I would be able to win the fight.
A live look at Jared Hess inside the Bellator cage. In his corner tonight, you see Roger Huerta. Hess has been training with Huerta in Austin, Texas in preparation for this semifinal bout. Jimmy, let's take a look at your inner circle.
Well, Shlemenko needs a new strategy. He can't fight the way he did against Matt Major. Those spinning strikes won't work against a solid wrestler like Hess. Don't expect a stand-up war. Hess is a solid wrestler. He's going to look for the takedown early and often. Big question in my mind, does Shlemenko have KO power? Matt Major ate a lot of strikes and still saw the final bell. Can he stop Hess if the opportunity presents itself?
We're now set for Bellator's first middleweight tournament semifinal. Here again is Michael Williams.
Bellator Fighting Championships along with UB.net and Everlast. What do you fight for? Tonight at Bellator 20 at the Majestic Theater. Now present 3 5-minute rounds. Our first semifinal in the Bellator tournament middleweight division. And now introducing first, fighting out of the red corner. He wears the black trimmed in white. At 5'11", he weighed in at 184 3/4 pounds. The Russian Army combat fighter brings a professional record with 28 victories, 17 by knockout, 4 by way of submission against 4 defeats. Representing Professional Sport Club and fighting out of Omsk, Russia, introducing Alexander Shlemenko. And across the cage is the adversary, fighting out of the blue corner. He wears the black trimmed in white. At 6 foot even, he weighed in at 185 1/4 pounds. The wrestler brings a professional MMA record of 10 victories, 3 by knockout, 7 by way of submission against a single defeat with 1 draw. Now training out of Austin, Texas, the fighter from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, the returning Season 1 middleweight finalist, presenting Jared Hess. And now the referee in charge of this contest, John Shorley.
There you see Jared Hess's sister Cindy and his mom Vicky in attendance tonight here at the Majestic Theater in San Antonio, Texas. Final instructions from our referee, John Shorley. This for a place in Bellator's second season middleweight tournament final. Alexander Shlemenko in the black trunks with the white trim. Jared Hess in the black trunks.
Ready. Fight.
The bell in round number 1.
Now, Shlemenko insisted I didn't show everything I had against Matt Major. I have some surprises for Jared Hess. Let's see if that's the case.
Shlemenko has won 13 of his last 14 pro MMA fights. Jimmy, his only loss over that span versus Jordan Radev, a fighter we had a number of times in M1. Radev wrestled at the international level for Bulgaria.
That's not a good sign. His losses tend to be to grapplers. He was choked out by Ronaldo Jacare de Souza, who's an outstanding jiu-jitsu fighter.
That loss, October of last year in Helsinki, Finland. Hess enters 10 victories, 1 loss, 1 draw. The only loss, what we mentioned earlier, versus Hector Lombard in last season's Bellator middleweight final. 4th round, doctor stoppage.
Those guys right now look like they have similar styles, hands very loose, looking to kick, looking to set things up.
When we asked Jared Hess in the fighter meeting about the spinning back fist, Hess said, I hope Shlemenko throws a spinning back fist.
If Shlemenko's smart, he won't do that. He'll stick to the simpler punches and kicks. You see what Shlemenko's doing now. He's backing off, trying to get Hess to commit.
The drive and the double-legged takedown by Jared Hess.
No surprise there.
Hess, an Oklahoma State high school wrestling champion and NCAA Division II wrestling All-American at Central Oklahoma University. Shlemenko talks often before his quarterfinal round bouts and before this semifinal round bout about feeling that he represents pure strikers in MMA. Well, this is not where a pure striker wants to be, on his hip.
Well, it's not good in MMA to be a pure anything. Have to be so well-rounded, have to know your opponent's game. Let's see if he's picked up enough grappling to survive on the ground with Jared Hess. Looks like Jared has a twister.
That is a twister by Jared Hess.
Don't know if he knows it or how to use it. Well, that's a very tough submission if you can get it.
Composure from Shlemenko.
This is going to be a very telling sequence. Can he get out of these kinds of positions with Jared Hess?
Shlemenko looks composed, but Hess looks in control. Half Nelson really there by Hess.
Now, I was really impressed in his first round fight, Jared Hess against another grappler, Ryan McGivern. His wrestling and his jiu-jitsu looked very dominant against a guy who's very experienced on the mat in Ryan McGivern. Shlemenko, by his own admission, not that experienced on the ground.
Shlemenko wants to get to his feet. He does not want to play the ground game. That's clear. Hess with the elbow strikes to the body.
Now, we call these hooks in jiu-jitsu. The right leg being in, we call those hooks. In wrestling, they call it a leg ride. Anyone who's had a lot of wrestling experience knows how to use this position very effectively.
Hess thinking about the rear naked choke. Again, that's really a half Nelson there, Jimmy.
And just cranking on the neck. Now has both hooks in.
One hook in, lost the other. Shlemenko playing defense with his right leg. And there's the rear naked choke just in front of us, and we can see that's over the mouth.
It doesn't look deep enough from here, Sean.
That's about 2 feet in front of our commentary position. Hess did not have it sunk in.
Shlemenko so far just really surviving on guts. Hess in a good position to throw knees here.
That knee, though, didn't find its way through.
And such great body control by Jared Hess.
Knee to the thigh by Jared Hess.
You saw Jared Hess look up at the ceiling. It usually means your opponent's going for a ride, but he didn't go for it. He's keeping tight around the waist, though. Good waist cinch.
Hess almost in a position for a belly-to-back suplex. Couldn't find it there.
Looks like he's trying to set up maybe the Joe Warren special, picking him up, dropping him right on his back.
Shlemenko, though, trying to get his center of gravity low. That's going for the single leg. Wide base by the Russian Alexander Shlemenko, and he's taken down.
And Hess just tenacious with that takedown. You know, that combination makes a great wrestler. Explosive and yet tenacious. You don't give your opponent any space when you get close to him.
Hess early over the back. Shlemenko back to his feet, spinning back fist. Spinning back kick. Hess was waiting for it, drives the takedown.
Shlemenko went briefly for a Kimura there. Now going for the omoplata. Hess doing a good job trying to step over.
Make no mistake, this position favors Jared Hess.
And this is the position we've been in most of this round, on the ground with Hess on top.
We're headed to round number 2.
Bellator Fighting Championships is bringing world-class.
You see here from the end of that round, that spinning back fist and then a spinning back kick. Jared Hess catching that, taking him right to the ground. Those spinning moves, like I said in the beginning, just aren't going to work against a grappler like Jared Hess. Now going tight for the guillotine.
Shlemenko looking to finish with the guillotine.
And Hess is straining, trying to get out of that, and he does.
Round number 2, Bellator's first middleweight semifinal. This is Bellator 20 from the Majestic Theater in San Antonio, Texas. Alexander Shlemenko in the black trunks with the white trim. Jared Hess is in the black trunks.
Now, when Matt Major took Shlemenko down in the first fight because of a miss-spinning back kick, you know, he didn't try to do that much from the bottom. He pretty much opened his guard and waited, you know, kind of waited out the round because he was winning by such a large margin. He can't do that against Jared Hess. He has to be very active from the bottom, and I don't know if he has the ground skills to do that. You know, it's easy to stall. When you're ahead, you can wait. When you're behind, you got to do something. Jared Hess is not the kind of guy you can just wait out. He's very busy with his ground and pound and his submissions.
Low close guard by Alexander Shlemenko. Then opens his guard, looking for the reposition of the ankles. Shlemenko really keeping that guard low. Left hand got through by Hess. That was nice. Shlemenko so used to playing offense on his feet, playing defense on the ground.
But against someone like Hess who gets the takedown so early, I mean, he was taken out on the first minute of this round. You can't play defense on the bottom for 4 minutes and expect to win a fight. You know, if you're winning the stand-up war like you was with Matt Major for 4.5 minutes, you get taken down at the end. Okay, you can kill 30 seconds or a minute and still know that the round is in your pocket. With a guy like Hess who's going to come out straight from the get-go and take you down, lying on your back's not going to do it.
Jimmy, if you're in the corner of Alexander Shlemenko, and if you speak Russian, what are you saying to your man?
You got to move. You have one of two options. Either go hard for the submission if you have the skills to do that, and I don't know if Shlemenko does, or create space with your legs, push off on his hips, try and get the space to work back to your feet. Now going for the triangle, but Hess trying to angle out.
Shlemenko has the triangle locked in, and probably looking to finish with the triangle is Alexander Shlemenko, the pure striker.
Wow, he's holding on to the head. Now looks like he's going for the armbar. Hess trying to step over to relieve that pressure. And his legs are open. Hess is out of trouble.
Good escape there by Jared Hess. That draws a big ovation from the fans here at the Majestic Theater in San Antonio. Now a rear naked choke attempt by Jared Hess, going for his own submission here in round 2. Couldn't find it.
Hess with that rustling base, it's so hard to get a wrestler off of you or submit them. It's so difficult. Their positioning is so good. Looks now like he's going for a leg lock, going for a heel hook. Don't think he's going to get Jared Hess with this. I think his leg is mostly out.
Shlemenko has no Sambo experience, but there's a Sambo lock. That is tight. And again, Hess gets out.
No, that leg was just too far out from the beginning to really endanger Hess. I think he was good from the start, just trying to pull that leg out and get a better position, which is where he is now.
Credit Shlemenko, he cannot stand and throw his wild strikes, his unorthodox strikes, so he is looking for submissions. But he's fairly clever with his legs on the ground.
Yeah, but the inexperience he's showing is in these interim, these transitional positions. You go for the leg lock while the guy's defending. Once it's gone, get up. He held on to it a little too long and ended up on the bottom again. That's what happened with the armbar triangle combination. That's what happened with the heel hook. When you're experienced on the ground, when you know it's done and you can't get the submission, in those little tiny gaps, get up while he's defending, and he's not doing that.
As trying to sit up, posture up, and let go with the strikes. Can you see Shlemenko? He's looking for a triangle, nowhere close to finding it. Again, keeping a really tight, low guard, really below the waistline of Jared Hess. Now opening his guard.
You know, wrestlers do that all the time. They fake the strike. They don't really intend to even hit you. They just want to set up their takedown. Strikers need to kind of do that in reverse. Go for a submission, even if you don't intend to get it. But as your opponent's defending or scrambling, that's your exit to get up. That's what Shlemenko has to do.
At this stage in his quarterfinal round victory versus Matt Major, Alexander Shlemenko had thrown what, Jimmy? 25, 30, 35 spinning back fist?
At least.
He's thrown one versus Jared Hess thus far.
Different kind of opponent, different kind of strategy.
Dying seconds of round number 2. We are headed to a third and final round.
We see some submissions from that second round. The guillotine at the outset. Hess able to pull his head out. Then the triangle. Shlemenko just not angling the right way, not pulling it tight enough. And also that heel hook attempt. Hess managing to roll out. But every time at the end, he ends up on top again. That's been the story of the first 2 rounds.
Third and final round. This our first Bellator middleweight tournament semifinal. Alexander Shlemenko is in the black trunks with the white trim. Jared Hess, the losing finalist last year in Bellator's inaugural middleweight tournament, is in the black trunks. 3 judges scoring cage side for the state of Texas. Jimmy, you have the unofficial card.
Well, I have to give it 2 rounds to none for Jared Hess. Great control, great posture, has been on top, and has been aggressive with his strikes and his submissions. 2 rounds to none for Jared Hess.
How much credence do you give to those submission attempts by Shlemenko in round 2?
They were good, but they were brief. You know, if he had maybe spent more time on the feet, oh, good knee!
Huge knee!
Wow!
Caught Hess, and Hess is in trouble.
Man, I think he might have been out and just woke back up. We'll have to see. That was a beautiful knee by Shlemenko.
Bobbing and weaving from his knees, there is Jared Hess. That was almost surreal. Shlemenko told us that he wanted to finish with the flying knee.
But this is not where Shlemenko wants to be, which is getting into grappling mode. Jared Hess can survive on instinct from here. He needs to stand up and get this back on the feet.
Wasn't quite a flying knee, but it was a devastating knee.
man, I think that really cost Shlemenko there. He went to that front headlock position, shucked him down. A guy like Jared Hess can survive there on instinct. He's grappled so much. He can grapple, you know, even if he's half out of it. He needed to stand back up and make this a kickboxing match again. But now they're on the ground, and that's Jared Hess's world.
Hess now closing his guard. Hess trying to throw punches from flat on his back. Shlemenko body head there with the left. Shlemenko scooping the leg. You wonder if he'll invite Hess to stand up, and that's just what he's going to do.
Wow, Hess is rocked. Referee might stop this. And he does!
There's the stoppage! There is the stoppage from referee John Shorley! And just like that, Alexander Shlemenko is through to the final.
He's saying something about his leg. He says his leg is hurt. He cannot stand up. Referee saw that he was wobbly on that leg and stopped the fight. I thought he wasn't getting up because he was rocked, but the referee's saying there's something wrong with his left leg.
Doctor says he's not. Dislocated his knee.
Doctor says the knee is dislocated. Oh my God! That knee is horribly dislocated. Good stoppage by the referee, Sean. Wow.
Great stoppage by referee John Shorley to the protest of Jared Hess, but
no, there's no protesting that. That knee is horribly dislocated.
I think when Hess watches this tape, when his adrenaline goes away back to a normal level, he'll realize that this fight had to be stopped.
He won't be walking when his adrenaline goes away, Sean, let alone protesting the fight.
Jimmy, into round 3, you had it 2-0 for Jared Hess, yet Alexander Shlemenko, based on that referee stoppage due to injury, is through to Bellator's second season middleweight tournament final.
Man, it started out, I don't know exactly when it happened, but he is clearly severely injured.
Will officially go down as a TKO due to referee stoppage.
Well, they're bringing in the stretcher now. He's clearly not capable of walking, Sean.
Keep in mind, this is not an injury retirement. Hess did not quit. Referee John Shorley saw it immediately, and even before the ringside physician could tell him to wave it off, Shorley ended this fight.
That's good refereeing. A lot of these guys will fight with broken legs, broken arms. You can't let them, and it'll destroy your career. You see it here. You see that leg is wobbly. Bang. Oh, my God. That is how the knee went out. Oh, sorry about that, folks, but man, that was shocking. The knee landed right on the chin, and he dropped directly on his left knee, bent it the wrong way.
And yet Hess continued to fight.
He certainly did. Man, tried to get up, and he could not. You can see that left leg is horribly out. Could not stand up.
By way of third round referee stoppage due to that horrific injury, Alexander Shlemenko victorious. Alexander Shlemenko has booked his place in Bellator's second season middleweight tournament final. Victorious, third round TKO due to a horrific injury of that man, Jared Hess.
Ladies and gentlemen, due to a dislocated knee suffered by Jared Hess, the referee, John Shorley, upon the advice of our cage-side physician, waves a halt to this contest officially at 2 minutes, 20 seconds into round number 3. Therefore, the winner by TKO victory, and now a finalist in the Bellator tournament middleweight division, Alexander Shlemenko.
I'm here with your winner, Alexander Shlemenko. What was he thinking during those first 2 rounds? Jared Hess, very effective.
Я сейчас здесь с Александром Фламенко and Shlemenko, sorry. And что ты думаешь про первые 2 раунда?
Первые 2 раунда я просто ждал момента, когда он устанет, готовил свою атаку. Я ему скручивал пятку во втором, по-моему, раунде. Я не понял, почему он не сдался.
Первые два раунда он, first two rounds, he was trying to make his opponent to, he was waiting until his opponent will tired. Yeah, and after that, to make his attack.
Okay, they're going to take us through the replay of the knee that dropped Jared Hess. I want him to talk about it as it's playing.
Они сейчас покажут тот момент, когда ты захватил его коленку и пятку.
Нет, когда я ударил коленом в голову. Здесь все видно, я попал в голову, он уже поплыл.
Здесь все видно. You can see here that he already hit his head and he fell, sliding down.
What's his opinion of the other two fighters that he's going to be facing the victor tonight between Brian Baker and Eric Shambari? What does he think of those two fighters?
Что ты думаешь про следующие твои два ринга будут? Нет, которыми ты будешь драться. Следующие два.
Я знаю, что здесь все хорошие ребята, все хорошо готовы. Они все будут драться до последнего, так как и Джеред Хесс сделал, готов был драться со сломанной ногой, поэтому здесь все очень сильные.
He knows that every opponent's very strong, and he knows that they will fight until last moment, like his opponent now, until he broke his knee, and he's still fighting.
Big hand, ladies and gentlemen, your first middleweight finalist, Alexander Shlemenko.